Hey guys, Miles here at Tactical Hyve, and today I want to talk to you about how to check the status of a pistol. And there are many different scenarios where you need to know how to check the status of your pistol. Most common one, probably for those of you watching this video, you're at a range, at a class, or something like that where there are guns involved, and someone might ask you, hey, do you want to try and shoot my pistol? And you don't know, they hand you this pistol and you don't know what the status is. Maybe there's no magazine in it, but you don't know if there's a bullet in the chamber, or meaning the barrel. Okay, it's actually loaded. So we need to talk about that. There are other situations too where this could happen. Maybe you are a gun owner, or maybe you're going to a friend's place who is a gun owner, and you find a gun on the, just sitting at a nightstand or on the table, coffee table or something like that. So this is just an important basic skill to have in your toolbox, because you don't want to be handling a gun that you feel or think is unloaded, but it's actually loaded. There's no one way to do this, all right? I'm going to share one way that you can implement quickly so that you can be safe around these guns if someone hands you a gun and you want to make sure that it's not going to fire. So let's just assume I'm going to take this magazine out and I'm going to rack the slide here just so you know that it's completely dry. We're not dealing with any bullets right there. But let's take the example where you are being given an actual pistol here. And let's assume that there's no magazine here, right? Just like this, okay? And this could be the same thing. You're walking into your friend's place and you see this gun here. There's no magazine, right? But you don't know if it is loaded. And let's say you want to also make sure it is safe, meaning you maybe don't want to fire yet, you just want to make sure it is in a safe condition. So what you would do is you're going to pick up the gun here, just like this, and main thing is you want to remember two important rules here when you're picking up the gun. You are not going to, just make sure you're about your muzzle awareness. You need to be aware where you're pointing the barrel, the muzzle, okay? Make sure it's in a safe direction, you're not pointing at anyone. And notice how I'm holding the gun here. No fingers are anywhere near the trigger here. I don't want to accidentally shoot this if it is loaded, okay? So now, what I would do is this, okay? I'm going to point the gun in the air just so you can see. I would take a look at the magazine well, okay, here, just to make sure it's completely empty. There's nothing there, all right? If there was a magazine in there, okay, depending on the situation, let's say I'm not planning to fire at all. Okay, I wanted to make sure it was completely unloaded. If there was a magazine, I would hit the mag release here, okay? Or depending on the firearm you're using, you're gonna hit the mag release the mag and put it down somewhere safe, okay? Just like this. Then what you're going to do is, if you are, once again, there's lots of different ways to do this, but this is just a very quick way. You're gonna keep your finger off the trigger, and if you are just here just to make sure it's completely unloaded, you can grab the serrations in the front or the back, and you want to pull it hard and make sure, you can do this a couple times, you'll see some people rack the slide 2 or 3 times, making sure there's nothing in the chamber here. There's nothing in the mag well, okay, make sure safe direction again, finger off the trigger, nothing in the mag well, nothing in the chamber. I'm looking for bullets here, okay? And this is assuming you don't even know how to lock the slide back. If you know how to lock the slide back like I just did here, so if you know the functions of your pistol, you can use the slide lock like this. And this is a more thorough method to make sure everything is clear. This is also assuming you're not shooting, maybe you're just going to be putting the gun down. When you lock your slide back like this, you can actually visually inspect if there's anything in the barrel or the chamber here. You can actually feel for it as well, right? And now if it's completely safe, you can put it down and just leave it as is. This other method here, where I showed you where some people are, and this is common, you'll see it as well, they'll just rack the slide a few times, kind of take a quick look, it's clear, nothing in the mag well, so they'll slide the slide forward, maybe the hammer is down, and this is usually when they're going to fire. They're actually going to do something. So this, I just got handed this gun, I want to make sure it's clear, okay? There's nothing in the mag well here, nothing, okay? So I'm making sure it's clear, it's good to go, hammer down. So now I'll load the mag. Okay, or maybe I'll do some dry fire exercises first, knowing that it is completely unloaded. Okay, so this is something that you want to ensure you are aware of or understand how to do. This is something where anytime you see a gun and you want to make sure it's safe, this is a very simple process. Now let me show you the situation where we're actually going to have a bullet in the gun, right? So I have my eye pro and ear pro on, I have a mag here that's loaded, and I'm going to actually rack one in. So I'm going to put it on safe, and this is that scenario. I walk at a friend's place or my place, I don't know the status of this gun, I want to check it, okay? Or someone hands me a gun on the range, there's a magazine in there. if you want to, there's a couple, it depends on the situation, right? Are you going to be shooting? Are you trying to just put the gun away, all right? Let's take first the situation where someone hands me a gun and I am going to be shooting. I'm in a safe direction, I'm at a range. Maybe my buddy just handed me this gun. They handed me the gun and I want to check the status. So what I would do is if you had a manual safety, you would take it off safe, right? If you have a Glock or Sig Sauer or anything like that, or a striker fired gun, you won't have that. But muzzle in safe direction. Remember this situation, we're just pretending we're at a range and the gun is pointed down range here, finger off the trigger. This is where you can do what's called a press check, right? Lots of different ways to do a press check. Okay, I'm going to share one way here. You're just going to pull the slide with your kind of have a crab claw. You're going to pinch the back here and just pull it ever so slightly so you can see brass. This is just a very simple way to have a visual check on whether or not there's a bullet in the chamber. Now there is. So now if you were ready to shoot, you know that, okay, there's a bullet there, I'm ready to go, and you can start practicing, all right? If you, let's take the other situation here where you didn't want to shoot. Someone gives me this gun, right? And I'm not planning on shooting, they give it to me, and maybe I want to take a look at it and do some dry fire first, right? Rather than shoot live. So now I'm here. If it had a safety, you keep the safety on here right now. But what I'm going to do at this point is if I'm not going to shoot, I'm going to release the mag, okay? Because this is the source of where the bullets, right? If it's in here, that means that there's the potential of actually firing if it stays in there, because bullets can load, right? They can be put into the chamber. Now that I release the mag, now I can release the safety, right? If there's a manual safety on the outside, release it here. If there's no safety, then you have a striker fired gun, then you're not gonna have to worry about that step. But here, if we were going to shoot, we would do a press check, right? Lots of different ways to do a press check. Okay, I'm just demonstrating a couple ways here. But let's assume you are not going to shoot. Then this is where you can rack the slide a few times and pay attention for a bullet to be ejected out. This bullet actually fell through the mag well. And so now here, I can, again, do a visual inspection. No, there's nothing there, okay? Now, if you had a holster, you could send the slide forward. This is what I mean by sending the slide forward. So I know there's no bullets inside here. I send the slide forward. My gun is still in the safe direction. I pull the trigger. So the hammer is down. Now I can reholster. That's one method, okay? If you're reholstering and there's no bullets in the mag well, nothing in the chamber, you're safe. If this was a traditional shooting range, you wouldn't want to just leave your gun like this. No one knows what the status of this gun is. So if now I leave it, like I know it's safe, right? I just made it safe. So I leave. Now someone else comes, maybe a friend, they come to this shooting station, this table, and they see the gun. You want to, this is just good manners and etiquette, you don't want to have another shooter wonder. They can do the same thing. They might do the same process that I just showed you earlier in the video, okay? But the proper way to do this, if you're at a range and you're going to leave your gun, right? Depending on the rules of the range, but you want to lock your slide to the rear. There's a slide lock here. So here, different guns have different types here, but the idea here is this is showing everyone that the gun is safe. There's nothing in the chamber, nothing in the mag well, right? And you could leave this gun here and then you can move away. People are gonna know that this is safe, so they don't have to check anymore, right? So two methods there that I just showed you. You can rewind and watch it again if you need to see it again. But the idea here is we just want you to make sure that if you're going to be handed a gun, that you are ensuring that it is safe, right? You can handle it safely, or if it's loaded. Let's say you're handed a gun and you want to practice, make sure it's loaded, or if you're going to leave it there, make sure it's in a safe status, right? So there you go, how to check the status of your gun. Maybe you see a gun hanging out on your table or a friend's table, someone hands you a gun at the class. While you're doing all of these procedures, just remember safety rules apply, right? For this particular video, two are the most important here. You're at a range or something like that, and your muzzle is pointed in a safe direction, and keep your finger out off the trigger, right? Then you can safely manipulate the gun and do your checks. As always, if you guys like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.